Following Manchester United's 4-0 spanking of Everton, we're going to be breaking down all three of Amorim's games in charge, including trends, standout performers, what Amorim makes of what he's seen, and our XG performance. First off, let's just look at some face value stats. Under Amorim so far, we have played 3 games, won 2, drawn 1, scored 8 goals, and conceded 3 goals. Most would argue that this is a respectable start to the United manager's career, given that he's come in and implemented a completely new system with players he doesn't really know. Not to mention, he's already doing things that his predecessor, Ten Hag, was never able to do. For example, Manchester United never won a Premier League match with a 4-goal margin under Eric Ten Hag. They already have under Rúben Amorim. But Amorim isn't getting ahead of himself. When speaking to the press following the Everton result, here's what he had to say. The result was good, but we were pragmatic. It was not pretty, I think, but we were pragmatic. We did our job, which is to win, but you can feel we have a long way to go. You can feel in the first minutes that we are okay, and then Everton control a little bit the game. Then, in the right moments, we had the goals. That changed the game a little bit. So you have to not just focus on the result, but focus on the way the result appeared. We have so much to do, but it's better to work with the victories. Let's focus on the performance more than the results. Obviously, when looking at the result, it's easy to get blown away by the scoreline, 4-0, and it's easy to use descriptors like I have myself destroyed, demolished, detonated Everton, but in reality, if you watch the game, it did feel as though the goals came from nothing. And the stats behind the stats back this up. For example, when you look and see that we created 0.73 XG to Everton's 0.65 XG, there really wasn't much between both sides, other than the gap in quality to finish chances. And I think this is what Amorim is getting at by saying, let's focus on the performance more than the results. Because even though it's a results business, Amorim wants to get these players all singing from one hymn sheet, and he's obviously not seeing this right now. It goes to show that he has a clear idea in his head of how this team should play as well, and he himself has said we have a long way to go. Amorim clearly wants to have a dominant front foot team that kills all hope for the opposition. He goes into this further here. We have some moments, but it's not like a line of top performance. It's like a roller coaster of a performance. So we have to understand that we have to feel that in the game. We have some moments that we are good, but in other moments we have to suffer. I think we did it again, like in the last game in the Europa League against Bodo/Glimt, but we need time to train and time to improve. Again, you can't argue with what Amorim is saying here. If you look at this momentum chart, you can visually see what Amorim is talking about. It's not a consistent line of dominance. It's a roller coaster ride where we get some momentum, then Everton gets some, then we get some again. Amorim doesn't want Man United to be a team of moments. He wants to systematically break down opponents, but in order to do that, you need to have a rugged system in place where every player is playing their role, something which we haven't seen in a long time. Another interesting moment from the post-match presser was when Amorim was asked about scoring early on in games. This is what he had to say. No, I'm just very, very lucky. If you can understand the moments of these 3 games, we had some luck in the moments that we scored, so I'm just a lucky guy. It's not the focus. I just focus on winning to try to build a new idea to the team. Now, this is where I disagree with Amorim. He's not a very lucky man. Obviously, Ten Hag leaving had lifted the players up. That's clear to see, but Rúben has implemented a new mentality into the squad, which he said he would do in his very first interview. When asked what his key priorities were, he said this: how to play, how to press, these small things, small details. You cannot go 100% on every detail because it will be confusing for the players. So if I have to say one thing, my main goal, my first goal, is identity. Now, bearing this in mind, let's look at all 8 of our goals under Amorim so far and how they were scored. Goal 1, Ipswich. Amad's assist showing determination and Rashford's hunger to get into the right position to finish. Goal 2, Bodo. Højlund's pressing showing determination and Garnacho showing hunger and being proactive to cover the ball should Højlund not get to it. Goal 3, Bodo. Mazraoui proactive, finding space, finds a class cross, and Højlund world-class finishing. Goal 4, Bodo. Team play, quick pass from Mazraoui, class flick from Mount, Ugarte getting further forward, and Højlund showing hunger to get in front of the centre-back to score. Goal 5, Everton. Set piece. We're 3 games in and we're already scoring from set pieces. We're making the most of our players' attributes. Everyone knows Rashford is our best striker of the ball, so the set piece just makes sense for him to be the one on the edge of the box. Goal 6, Everton. Amad determined and hungry to press. Bruno finding the right option. Goal 7, Everton. Xerxes, great link link-up play, Ahmad's determination and hunger, sprinting down that wing, then the intelligence to hold his run and wait for Rashford to finish. He even almost directed Rashford on where to go for the goal. Goal 8, Everton. Ahmad, determination and hunger, noticing that the Everton players had pretty much switched off, so he presses them and unselfishly finds Xerxes. Trends that I've noticed within all these goals include 75% of them in the Amorim era have come from a player pressing. It's mainly been Ahmad, but also Højlund sprinting, pressing, running. They're switched on. I don't think this is just a coincidence or luck. I think Amorim has shown these players when to press and when not to press in his system, and they're picking it up very quickly. This is backed up by Højlund, who came out and said this after the Bodo game. He told me not to think too much about the guys behind me and just work on what I can see in front of me. We saw that with the first goal. Meaning Amorim saying he's lucky is just another example of him playing the journalists a little bit, but also being extremely humble. He knows exactly what he's doing. Now let's look at the goals we've conceded and exactly how they came about. Goal 1, Ipswich, deflection off of Mazraoui's dome. Not much Amorim can really do about this situation. Goal 2, Bodo. Now I put this goal down to Amorim's experimentation, which you can't really blame him for doing when he really needs to find out which positions these players can play in. We learned from this goal that Fernandes can't play in a deeper CM role for Amorim. He just doesn't have the defensive mindset in order to do it. He leaves the player completely empty and jogs back when we're in a vulnerable position, which is why this goal, in my eyes anyway, is entirely down to experimentation. Goal 3, Bodo. This goal again is purely down to physicality. Malacia, returning from injury, simply did not have the legs to go up against the Bodo winger, and he absolutely skinned him. Not much Amorim could do about this other than not start Malacia, but he obviously wants to give everyone game time to find out their strengths and weaknesses in this system. Speaking about giving everyone game time, this has clearly been one of the main goals for Amorim since he's come in. Everyone has been given a clean slate to show what they can do for the team. This is backed by the fact that 19 different players have started under the manager in just 3 games, with more appearing through substitutions. The fact that we're seeing this rotation but still getting results is a testament to Amorim's system and his open-minded approach to get the players on board, assuring them that everyone will get an opportunity under him. However, having said that, there have definitely been standouts. In particular, Ahmad looks as though he was born to play the wingback role, picking up 3 assists in 3 games, while also showing defensive stability with his ability to track back. This is highlighted even further when we look at his stats from the Everton game. No Manchester United player completed more take-ons, 4, won more tackles, 4, created more chances, 3, or registered more assists, 2, than Ahmad today. Ahmad stood out so much that he even got praise from his manager, with Amorim saying, "He was really good again, he's in the great moment, but that moment started with Ruud, so I just take advantage of Ruud's work." Cracks a smile with Ahmad. He was really good at defending and really good at attacking, so he has to continue to play like that. You could feel it at the end of the game. He was really tired, so we also have to manage that in between games to increase his physical ability. Once again, Amorim being Mr. Humble. Mazraoui has been a rock at centre-back, despite it not being his main position. Rashford and Højlund have both shown clinical streaks as well. In terms of the players underperforming under Amorim, I'll be making another video on them. Now, this wouldn't be an Old Truthford video without brushing up on a cheeky bit of XG, so let's have a look at how Amorim's Reds have stacked up. Manchester United have created an average XG of 1.6 and have conceded an average of 0.98, showing we are beginning to look more sound defensively and more dangerous offensively in comparison to how we were under Ten Hag. However, these stats are a bit skewed. For example, we created a lot more XG against Bodo than we have in the Premier League against Ipswich and Everton, showing that although we've just won 4-0, we may struggle in the upcoming Premier League games to replicate that. One of the main talking points following Amorim's 3rd game in charge has been on Xerxes and whether he's proven or vindicated himself. Now, for me personally, I'm not saying he's arrived just yet. Yes, it was good to see him linking up the play and finishing the opportunities that were put on a plate for him, but given this performance was against Everton, it's hard for me to go all out on the Xerxes train just yet. What I do know is that Amorim was reluctant to give too much credit. When asked about the goals scored from the forwards, this is what he had to say. It doesn't matter who scores, if you have players in your team that you want to score to give them confidence, it's the strikers. It's better for them. For me, even if Andre Onana scores, it's the same. I just want to help them to be the best they can be. And it's with answers like these that Amorim has really won over the fan base. He shows humour, understanding, and a relatability which we haven't had since arguably Ole. When asked about his connection with the fans and players, Amorim had this to say: "If you are honest and direct with the supporters, maybe you don't say the popular thing all the time. You create that connection rather than try to hide the real thing. As a coach, you can be so good with tactical and technical stuff, but if you're not emotional, you can't have a connection with the players. You can't do anything with the team. The truth will set you free, people." What do you make of Amorim's first 3 games in charge of United? Are you liking what you're seeing? I've got to say, even though the stats aren't reflecting it right now, I think on the eye, we're looking like a very dangerous side going forward. The only worrying thing is it looks like we are very open at the back as well. But the good vibes are officially back. Drop your thoughts on Amorim's first 3 performances down below. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more honestly biased sports content. Godspeed.